Hello, internet. This is like the third time I've filmed today in this outfit, but I owe you a few book opinions. Today's book is going to be The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now, this is a retelling, reimagining, more detailed version of Homer's The Iliad, and we get the tale from Achilles' boyfriend Patroclus. Now, I'm going to start by prefacing this. I have read the Iliad. I've read the stories that go along with the Iliad, like Agamemnon. I understand and am familiar with the story. I already knew what I was getting into, but I was intrigued because I wanted to see an author finally acknowledge that we all knew Achilles and Patroclus were gay for each other. Like, come on. The only better love story that was hidden away and no one wants to admit to, other than that, I guess would be from Gilgamesh, because we all know Gilgamesh was horny for his boy, you know. I wanted to see that story, so like, I went into it, I was like, I'm gonna prepare my heart. I know how this is gonna end. I know how this love story goes. But impress me, and I mark myself impressed. Miller really did a great job. A thing that I've always kind of dissuaded me from reading the actual text when it comes to Greek stories is because without context, which Greek stories tend not to have, the stories don't really make sense. They don't make full contextual sense to you. If you simply read the Iliad, you will not understand everything going on. You will not understand the society. You will not understand the system. It is very clear that when these stories were recorded, they were not recorded for people other than the Greeks. They were recorded with the Greeks in mind, with them already understanding how their honor system worked, with them already understanding all the intricacies of their culture and their communities. So it really doesn't make sense to us now, so many years into the future, trying to read it without so much context. Me, having learned these, read them, and then learning the context around them, I understood the story. But I like how when you read Song of Achilles, you don't need to know the history about the Greeks, because Miller explains the story by also giving you why characters would act the way they do. She's very personal by putting Patroclus as the narrator and him telling you how his world works and why it works this way, why the honor system would work this way, why people would be honor bound to do one thing versus another, why kings would act this way, why princes would act such, why competitions would be this way, and explaining all of these things through his eyes versus just telling you these are the events happening, but actually showing us why these things are. You can read this book and come away knowing how Greek society worked in some sort of aspect without having to study it separately so that you could understand the story. Points for you, because I tell you, you can't read the Iliad without understanding Greek society. You just can't. It's not written into the Iliad. In the Song of Achilles, that explanation is written in. Yes. Thank you. I understand my characters better. I understand why they're acting the way they are. Much better. Thank you. While personally I'm not a fan of the Greco-Roman storytelling style, because Madeline made it so personal by adding Patroclus, by making us see from this party how he saw the world and being intrigued in it, that distaste I normally have towards the Greco-Roman writing style was dampened by the excellence of this story. I don't know how to identify perfectly and explain to you. Just trust me that I know what I'm talking about. So, you know, that's not very helpful for you, I know, but I know what I'm talking about. So I don't like certain Greco-Roman tropes and certain Greco-Roman writing styles. It kind of like me a little, like there's nothing wrong with them. They just me. That's the best description I can give you. So with these details added, because that's really what Miller does, is she adds so many details into it to help you better understand the characters and the society they live in, that part is dampened for me, that I can fully enjoy the story. I fully enjoyed the story without being like, there's goes Greek society again, just doing things that I don't really understand or approve of or think make any sense at all. But then she gave me a sort of explanation where I could be like, I understand you, but you're still dumb. I liked how she told the story from Patroclus' side, and then she explained why Achilles was the way that he was. When you see Achilles from Patroclus' eyes, you can be like, oh, okay, I kind of see why you're a big, huge douchebag and baby. Like, I get it. Like, your mom was a piece of crap and didn't know how to raise a child. Like, she made you think you were up here because you were a god baby, but you ain't that special, come on. I could understand and relate a little more to Achilles by seeing how much Patroclus loved him and cared for him, and how Patroclus understood that Achilles was not a perfect person. Like, as much as everyone wanted to say he was because he was strong, like he was the perfect ideal of a man, him as a person was not a perfect person. And Patroclus was like, dude, you need to straighten up sometimes, but I still love you, but like, some of your actions, no. Like your mom, the way she be teaching you, no. That's not how you treat people. That's not how you act. That's not like what you do. And seeing Patroclus like get down there and be like, no, you're acting bad. You're being dumb. But then again, Achilles willfully ignoring him, and Patroclus still loving him even though he doesn't always get listened to, and even though he knows and understands all of Achilles' faults. I was just like, okay, I get you. It's not fully Achilles' fault that his mom made him think he was God of the universe and he didn't have to treat no one like they were people. Like, I get it. Because when I read the Iliad, I just wanted Achilles to die. Like, I despise Achilles when I read the Iliad. Hector's my man. Hector from Troy. Hector's my man because Hector didn't need no gods to come and help him. Hector was a great warrior. He was only fighting because his town got attacked because his brothers was stupid. And he was like, you know what? My brother's dumb, but he's still my brother, and I'm going to defend my brother. You know what? If your wife wanted you, she would have gone back, because Helen, the whore, of course, wanted to stay in Troy. I have my own problems with Helen. Anyway, Helen over here wants to stay here. Go away. Paris is dumb, but he's my dumb brother, and I guess I'll protect him. So Hector, upstanding citizen, didn't need no gods for help, and he got defeated by Achilles because Achilles needed 15 gods to help him defeat one mortal man when Achilles is half god himself. I was just like, Achilles, you need way too much help. You're just a little baby. And then how he desecrates Hector's body the way he does, and just how dishonorable he is, how he whines because he doesn't get the spoils of war, which is a living human being, and he gets that taken away from him. All those sorts of things in the Iliad, I'm just like, I understand the honor thing. I understand, like, you're angry because your boyfriend was killed. I understood all of those things, but I still couldn't help but feel like Achilles was a jerk. But when Miller's telling it, I'm like, Achilles, you're still a jerk and a big whiny baby, but at least I kind of understand why you're a big jerk and big whiny baby. I was like, it's still not right what you did, but given the character that has been explained to me and who you are as a person through the eyes of Patroclus, I can understand why you thought that was an okay thing to do, and I can kind of sort of forgive you for it, even though I think Hector should have cut you in the knee and he should have won. I'm willing to give and take. Miller added in the character of Achilles' son, and this son being raised purely by Achilles' mother, and how we see Achilles' son as a person and how awful Achilles could have been. Now again, there's no hiding Achilles is a brat and a huge jackass sometimes, but we can see that by having human contact that Achilles was pretty decent. I mean, sure, he only loved himself, his father, his mother, and Patroclus, but because Patroclus was there keeping him in check, he could be a good ruler, a good leader with Patroclus by his side. Now when we see a freaking bitch mom over here raising a kid, just her and her lonesome, we understand Achilles could have been a whole lot worse, and we're thankful that he was just a minor asshole versus the gigantic asshole his son is, because his son, I'm glad he's dead too. At the end of the day, Miller convinced me that Achilles isn't that bad. And if you knew me in real life, I rant about how dumb Achilles is all the friggin' time. He's like just one step below Oedipus Rex for me, you know? So to have Miller convince me that, yeah, Achilles ain't that bad and he's kind of okay was like just fantastic. I think that has to do with the fact that because the story's told through Patroclus' eyes, you can see how much Patroclus loves him, and I liked Patroclus. I thought he was a pretty cool character. Like, I was like, man, you're a decent kid. Like, you ain't bad. Like, he reminded me a lot of Remus Lupin. Like, I don't know why I made that connection, but he reminded me of that. So I was like, Patroclus, you pretty cool. You pretty cool. So when, like, he was, like, showing that, like, he loves Achilles, I was like, he can't be that bad if you love him. Like, I guess he can't be that bad. Like, you're telling me that he is bad at stuff, but you're also telling me that you can love him in spite of his assholery. I guess I can't hate him. Like, that's how I felt. I was just like, I can't disrespect you like that, Patroclus. You just love this kid so much. I can't disrespect you, but just telling you the love of your life is just a stupid hoe bag. It really did a fantastic job. I'm really excited to see more from her, because I really loved how, like, this story wasn't so much a complete, like, rehashing, like, completely different telling of the story. It just added in the cultural details that were left out from the original and added in some of the extra stories surrounding the event, compiled them together, and added more details. There were a few artistic changes you could clearly see. I want to say it was the Iliad with footnotes, you know? It was just more detailed, unabridged version of the Iliad, so that the common man who was not Greek could completely understand the story. What is your opinion on Achilles? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? Because I hate the guy, but then I kind of tolerate him now. Like, so how do you feel about Achilles as, like, a human being? Or like a character? Would you be friends with him, I guess is what I'm asking. Would you stand around him and be okay with that? If you like what I'm doing here, you want to continue to see more, click the bunnies down below, and goodbye, internet.